So what Happy Town does is provide organizational development services to other nonprofits in Galveston.
Right.
And now that we're funded by the Moody Foundation, those services are free.
Good.
But what I would love to see is for other communities become a Happy Town community. So if this model works in Galveston, getting funding from the outside, being able to offer these services for free to nonprofits, take that model and take it to Texas City or League City and find somebody there that wants to fund it and provide services for those nonprofits.
This is Jim Bratton Podcast. You may enjoy some, or all, or none. Now, here's Jim.
So this is the Jim Bratton Podcast coming to you from sort of Studio 206 at Marmo. It's our studio for now. Joining us is Dave Baca, and he is with, and I've got, this is such a great name, Happy Town Community.
Thank you.
Dave, first of all, thanks for being here.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
And let's talk a little bit about Dave Baca first. And then I want to talk about Happy Town and how you got to this name and everything else that goes along with it. So, Dave, your background, academia, right?
Right. I originally started my career as an engineer. Did that for a few years, and kind of the economy kind of went in the toilet. Yeah. And went back to school and ended up getting a master's in library science. A buddy of mine was the dean of the library and convinced me to go that route instead of back into engineering. So I got my master's and worked at Texas A&M University Library for quite a few years.
Yeah.
And then got a position out at University of Arizona in Tucson, running their science and engineering library. Jumped back to Texas, running the Navarro College system for a while, and then down here to Galveston at the Texas A&M University campus here, running the library. Just retired about 2.5 years ago. I did a brief stint after retirement from A&M at Visit Galveston, directing the Visitor Center and the Certified Tourism Ambassador program, and also a small part in the Galveston Music Advisory Committee that the Park Board had put together. And since last September, I've been on my own, started a nonprofit organization called Happy Town Community. The name is a little odd. I have to tell people we're not a daycare. We're not a party supply store, right? It's kind of, and I've even had one of the funders, a foundation funder say, we could probably give you money if you would just change the name because it we don't know what we're doing. But fortunately, we are funded by the Moody Foundation, the very generous support there. The name comes, my wife.
Walk me through where the name came from.
My wife and I have been in this community now for over 15 years, and we are very involved. She's the executive director of the Galveston Island Tree Conservancy, and so she's very involved in every aspect of the community. And we've just gotten to be where we volunteer a lot. We're on boards. We're, very, very much integrated in the community. And there's a feeling that you get when you have that kind of synergy in the nonprofit world where the organization itself is just hitting right. There's a lot of collaboration that's going on, a lot of cooperation. You just get that feeling, and it's almost like a feeling of joy, right?
It is.
And it's just kind of.
I'm sensing a little bit of your engineering background as this whole thing comes together, because that has almost a resonating mechanical balanced kind of feel to it.
Yeah, yeah. And so I mean, I was looking for a name that would just really reflect that feeling.
Yeah.
And Happy Town was what I came up with. I ran it by a few people. My friend Jessica Antonelli, who's an artist and also director of operations for La Izquierda. I talked to her, and it's like, okay, if we can get a logo out of this that works, we'll go with the name, right? So the logo was kind of driving the name, and we found one, and I think it was perfect, and so I stuck with it. The community part of the name really reflects the future of how I'm seeing this. So what Happy Town does is provide organizational development services to other nonprofits in Galveston.
Right.
And now that we're funded by the Moody Foundation, those services are free. But what I would love to see is for other communities become a Happy Town community. So if this model works in Galveston, getting funding from the outside, being able to offer these services for free to nonprofits, take that model and take it to Texas City or League City and find somebody there that wants to fund it and provide services for those nonprofits for free.
I'm guessing that you'll begin to have sort of a boilerplate in place over time.
Yes. Yeah.
That is eminently repeatable.
And that's what we're working on this year is kind of that template for everything, because the services we offer are everything from if you want to create a 501c3 nonprofit, how do you do that?
Boy, and that is a hurdle for so many people.
It is a big hurdle. And being prepared to do that and making sure that you're you kind of know what you want to do and where you want to go and having that vision and then having people on board for it. So it's a big step for people to take. So everything from that and then looking at how do you do strategic planning? How do you create that vision and mission statement? How do you not only tell your organization and your customers where you're going, but also funders as well. You know, what are we looking at? What kind of data do we need? How do we run all this? And there is such a small bandwidth that's available. I would say probably 90% of our nonprofits here are 1 and 2 people operations.
I'm just thinking about that. Matter of fact, a nonprofit that might have 10 employees, for example, in a town of a couple of million, might have 1 to 2
might have
here,
1 or 2
and function just fine here.
Yeah, and they do. But it puts a lot of work on those 1 or 2 people having to do programming and all that, and then try to do this organizational development part.
They hate fundraising.
Yes, everybody does.
So I can see where if you can shift some of that burden sideways.
Exactly. Yeah, and we do that as well. I mean, we will. You know, a lot of going out and looking for money from foundations and getting those grants is making sure that you've got a clear message, you've got a clear plan for things, and then using that to tell that story over and over and over again to try to convince the funders to support you. So yeah, it's critical.
I'm just thinking from my previous board memberships on nonprofits, man, I wish we would have had somebody like you around, because it's hard to get a repeatable story.
It is.
I mean, you would think that would be so easy, just that you got an elevator speech you could take and take that to some other level, but it's hard to be consistent.
It's hard to be consistent. It's hard to be succinct. You know, when you're talking about an elevator pitch, that 2 or 3 minutes that you supposedly have, to be able to tell that story, and not really in just bullet points, but be able to just talk about it, right, about what you do. It can be very hard, and you just have to have a clear understanding of what it is your organization does. It's surprising how many don't. You know, we want to do these kinds of things. We want to. This is our vision, is to help elementary school kids with reading, right? Well, what does that entail exactly?
Yeah, what you
right?
going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? How are you going to impact, elementary school kid reading? What are the services you're going to do? How are you going to get to these kids? What are the outcomes you're looking for? How do you measure those outcomes? How do you get this data? How do you know that you've done what you said you were going to do?
Maybe I'm biased on this since I have a degree in electrical engineering as well. So,
Yeah.
I could see the linearity and the necessary linearity
Right.
in mixing that with the creative aspects. Now, how do you, since a lot of your organizations are on the side of the community service
Right.
or arts organizations,
Right.
I got to ask,
Well,
how do you get an arts organization to focus?
it's very difficult. I'm not making fun of them, but
No,
with
no,
a lot
no,
of these,
no.
a lot of the organizations, if you put a spreadsheet in front of somebody, it's like you created fire, right? It's like, oh, this is, just tracking things, tracking the impact that you're making and getting the data. And to me, it is a very linear process, right? You figure out what you want to do. You look at your environment to see if you can be a success and you can have an impact. You walk through that strategic planning process. From that, you look at, well, what kind of data are we going to need? What kind of marketing do we need to do? How do we measure these impacts? It is a very, linear process for me to do that. So bringing that to a creative group or somebody that doesn't have a background in it or just has never been exposed to it, it's I think I bring a great deal
I think
to
you
it.
do
So
too, frankly, and I don't mean to diminish that in the creative group at all, because
Right. No,
their
not at all.
ability to think random thoughts and to reach up into space
Right.
and create something from air
yeah.
is beautiful.
And that is the beauty of what I do, is that it allows those people that are creative and to just do that, right?
because
You don't have to worry about all this
I can
other stuff.
imagine, because once an artist group knows they need to do those kinds of things, it gets to be overwhelming.
It does.
If they think, well, I've got to do all this myself. How do I do that? What do I do?
Exactly. And you can, I am an sort of an AI proponent. You can go out there and search for these kinds of things. I think what I bring with Happy Town, excuse me, is that my product that I'm going to give you is a finished strategic plan.
Right.
You can watch a webinar, you can go onto AI and get it to put all this stuff together, but then you have to actually go in there and get it all written and make sure it's correct and make sure it's doing what you think it's going to do. What I do is I will sit down and meet with you, and then after just a really short time, you've got a finished product in your hand that you can then run with, and use for as much as you want. So I think that's kind of what my big piece of this. And then I'm going to be a pest. We're going to work on this strategic plan. We're going to draw it up. We're going to look and see what we're supposed to be doing. And then I'm going to follow up with you every so often and make sure that you're on the path to do it.
Get you across the finish line.
Right.
It's so easy to do the 85%
Right.
and stop.
And stop.
And unfortunately, the finish line is 50 yards ahead, within reach.
Yes.
But we don't get there.
Don't get there. And it's, again, nothing against academics, but academics are very good at spending a whole lot of time on things like strategic planning and involving dozens and dozens of people. And then once it's written, it just kind of tucked away on a shelf somewhere and nobody looks at it again, right? So I am one of these people. I led the strategic planning process for A&M Galveston several years ago, and that was more of a coordination kind of thing. But getting people to get this thing written and all their input on it. You don't want it to just sit there, right? You don't want it to just die. So I am persistent about, okay, did you follow your strategic plan? Why are you doing this thing? Why'd you start this project? It had nothing to do with where you thought you were going. Yeah. So I'm going to take them to task. Yeah.
I'm just sitting here thrilled, and I'm awestruck, okay, because this is so valuable.
Yeah.
And it takes somebody with a diverse background like you have to really step into this and be able to make it happen.
Yeah.
I think because you've done so many aspects of it. Now let's take it to the actual implementation.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about what you do, what Happy Town does.
Right.
Suppose somebody's out there right now, somebody listening. And they say, yeah, I'm interested in that. I'd like to, maybe I need to do a nonprofit, or maybe I need to do a project, or maybe I need to launch a new product, or whatever.
Right.
What do they do?
Well, they can go to happytowncommunity.org
Right.
And get a little bit more information about what it is we do and who we are. There is a form that they can fill out that will send all their contact information to me. I'm happy with people even just texting me.
Okay.
409-599-1441.
And by the way, that'll all be on the header of this podcast. So,
I put it on everything.
Yeah, why not?
I am very happy with people just texting me and getting that initial meeting. Once we've had that initial meeting, I go back, I kind of put together our conversation, give them a little bit more as to what next steps are, and then give it back to them. And then I'm again passed about, okay, we did this. Let's follow up with this. But yeah, they can go on to the website and
how long
and
should they
contact me.
allocate for that first meeting, probably?
Well, the first meeting with the leadership, whether it's the executive director or the chair or the president of the board, could be something as short as 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I like to have, if we're going to get to the point of talking with the board about, putting this strategic plan together and doing things like a SWOT analysis or whatever it is, maybe a couple of hours, tack it on to a board meeting
Right.
that they're already going to be at, spend a little bit of time, and a lot of it truly is just having a conversation. One of the services that we offer is board development and board training.
Right.
Understanding what your role and responsibility is as a board member is critical. I think that's probably the number one complaint I hear is that our board's not doing anything, or we have the wrong people,
Or
this
sometimes the board does not know what to do.
So there's a couple of models that are out there, right? It can be a strong executive director organization with a board that's just kind of there to support. It can be a strong board model where they are the ones that set out what's going to happen, and then the executive director just kind of carries it out. There has to be communication back and forth between them to know what's going on at all times. So knowing and understanding those roles and responsibilities is critical to moving forward.
I can see that if you get enough of these going, you've got a tiger by the tail.
I almost kind of already do.
I know you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're well organized and do have a sense of linearity mixed in there
Yes.
someplace. What about the small entrepreneurs, the onesie-twosies that may not want to go with a 501c3, but they got their, maybe they don't even have an LLC yet, but
Right.
they want to know how to move themselves forward. And maybe they've got a project of some kind that they want to do. Can they contact you as well?
Certainly. I will talk to anybody. I'm hoping that the Chamber of Commerce approached me a while back. I'm hoping that we can get training sessions and training workshops off the ground for their for-profit businesses, chamber members. I am putting together a series of workshops for nonprofits that will be coming up, I hope, in April. It will be everything from starting that organization to all the way to, the strategic planning and implementation with like a 1.5 hour session going on, doing a SWOT analysis, doing the strategic planning. What kind of data do you need? Data systems that you can use.
Right.
I'm very excited to hear about the recent United Way Galveston news that they got a large grant.
Right.
to talk about data and data systems and implementation. So I'm really excited about that moving forward and the community being exposed to those kinds of things, which I think will help me out as well. I mean, the more organizations that can understand what's
and I'm glad to hear that you're not anti-AI. It's as an augmentation. It's not bad.
It is. Yeah. Well, I think the best training that you can have with AI is how to do good searches and how to ask good questions.
That's the whole battle.
I have used it for generating ideas. Not really writing anything because I'm a fairly good writer and I can write it myself. Yes. But I know that there are people that take financial statements of their business and their organization, run it through AI, and it analyzes, it'll give you out all the charts and graphs you need to look at how your business is doing and what's coming up. And it's a very powerful tool that we need to be using. It can be overwhelming.
A friend of mine wrote a recent article on LinkedIn saying, in some cases, AI is limiting productivity because you just throw so much stuff at us. It's like a fire hose of information, and we feel obligated to act on it.
Well, as a former librarian and a library director, I completely understand that. They're kind of the term we've always used in libraries is drinking from the fire hose, right?
Absolutely.
It is the amount of information that's out there, the number of articles that are out there, and libraries are kind of those, I won't call them gatekeepers, but guides. So I understand that the amount of time that you can spend on just getting a simple statement or search statement correct is daunting.
Sometimes it takes 5 sets of prompts.
Yep.
And by that time, it's lost track.
It's lost track. You've lost track. You have no idea. Yeah. I am not an expert in that, but coming from that library background, I know experts in that. Yeah. So, if you want to use AI for that, text me, give me some information, and I will connect you. I'm very big. I have sort of no ego in this at all. I will connect you to anyone and everyone that I know that can help you out. I'm really, to me, a reflection of this community, which I just absolutely love, is, having a healthy community means you have healthy nonprofits. And that health is anything and everything. It's getting volunteers. It's getting funding. It's being able to run your operations. It's being able to collect that data. And if there is somebody that knows how to do that and I don't know them, I connect them to them, right? It's like they can help you out with this because I don't know what I'm talking about. But
there's another topic we can do another time, okay? And that is that there's a pull through to all of this that it broadens the value of Galveston as a destination.
Right.
Besides cruise ships or historical tours, I mean, there's a whole nother bunch of stuff here.
This community can be exhausting. I love this community.
So do I.
My wife and I are now, I'm kind of semi-retired, but not. But we keep talking about, well, if we moved away, where would that be? And I just don't think this community is going to let us go. But there is so much going on here. When I run across a tourist or a visitor and they're like, oh, we did this and this and this. We, like you do everywhere you go, it's like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to live here. And I'm one of the, I like turn into Mr. Galveston. It's like, oh, there's so much going on here. The art community is huge. The medical community is huge. Health is huge. Music is huge. It's just
a daily walk.
Kids, beach.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
On my 8 a.m. walk this morning, I hear the church bells. I hear the seaside industry, and a solo gull flew by. So, Dave Baca, this has been a delight talking with you. The organization is Happy Town. We'll have all the header information, all of his contact information on the head of this podcast. Dave,
Jim,
thank you so much for
thank you,
joining us
Jim.
today.
I appreciate it.
What an act of passion you're pursuing here. Thank you.
I'm very happy.
and which is appropriate.
Appropriate.
And this has been the Jim Bratton Podcast, coming to you from Marmo 206. Thanks for joining us. Dave, thank you
This
so
has been
much.
Jim Bratton Podcast. We hope you have enjoyed, been inspired, informed, angered, or otherwise emotionally stimulated. This is your booth announcer, Sierra Sakel.